Okay, let's see. League versus Dota, what's the difference? Okay, what's the difference? Is it champion design? I would say that's more of a subjective aspect. Because for me personally, I think it depends on what you like. And I do find the designs in League to be interesting though. And also Dota as well. Because like Dota is more stylized realism and the heroes look more gritty. Whereas League, if I have to describe it, is more colorful and anime-like. Yeah, basically League is for weebs. That's it. Is it item design? Yeah, I would say Dota has the better range of items, especially with how they introduced the neutral items. That was probably one of the best innovations Dota has done in like over the years. No. Okay. It is freedom. Yeah, I would agree with that. Because you can literally play Dota any way you want.
Dota when it comes to the strategic aspects of the game. It's why people playing League sometimes feel the game grows stale. And why?
Yeah, because it's too formulaic. Like everything is curated for you. From the skill build to the item build, there's only one way to play the hero and that's it. My friend literally told me that he once got reported simply for trying out a random build in League. Sure, Dota has a steep learning curve, but would I ever get bored playing it? Never, because every game feels different and you never know what will happen next, which is so fun for someone like me who enjoys games that are more freeing, that gives you the options to choose what you want to do or how you do it, things like that.
Dota feels so impossible to understand for new players.
Valid response.
Hero roles to itemizations and macro movements, League tells you how to play, while Dota lets you choose for yourself.
Yeah, that's literally why I said this guy knows his shit.
Series. Everything I've talked about, from the very first video comparing Ashen Drow Ranger to the most recent talking about
Ashen Drow Ranger,
will be relevant here. You won't need to have watched those to get this one. For those of you that have, you will see the patterns. So, what sets these two juggernaut games apart?
Easy. One is easier to get into while the other is extremely hard, and one has more girls playing it while the other mostly sweaty guys, and I'm one of them.
Let's talk about the freedom of play.
Freedom of play
is the freedom to choose how to play. What role will your chosen champion or hero have in the match? What items will you go for first or second? Who are you going to counter from the enemy team? When will the early game end? And
pretty basic stuff that I think most MOBAs have.
Every strategic choice in the match, big and small, adds to the overall freedom the game can provide. And every time the game takes away your choice, it is a sign of its control over you.
Yeah, the illusion of choice.
What does a match of Dota and a match of League look like side by side?
Yeah, let's see it.
Time to choose our character. League of Legends has an ordered select phase round. You pick the champion in player order on the screen, alternating between both teams. You can only pick your champion on your turn.
What? Wait, so League literally forces you to pick like your role when the game starts? I mean, yeah, sure. In Dota, we do have kind of an unwritten rule of having supports pick first, but we still have the freedom to do what we like. I mean, the order in which we pick our heroes and roles. Maybe you can pick the off lane or mid first and then throw in a curveball with a last pick support that can sometimes turn a game around if it's the perfect counter pick. So I'm guessing in League, you can't even have the chance to do a flex pick because like everything is step by step. Huh, okay, now I understand why people would get bored of League, and I've seen a lot more people talking about quitting League than Dota, I think. But then again, League does have a bigger player base, so it's not surprising. I have heard more about League players quitting as compared to Dota players. Being forced to pick your roles in order, like that just takes away the enjoyment of the picking phase, which is already technically a feature of itself in a mobile game. Like the planning and the surprise factor is already such a fun experience in of itself. Interesting. So League literally forces you. Damn.
On Dota side, players are allowed to pick their heroes in any order they wish. You can pick your tanks or supports early, or let the supports choose their heroes later on for more powerful counters. To
Yep.
get the same level of draft expression in League, players would need to request to swap pick orders, which doesn't always work out.
Well, at least there is one thing League and Dota still have in common. Selfish players. I mean, in Dota, asking someone to change role is like telling them you killed their parents, which is honestly still the most infuriating part of playing any MOBAs.
Let's talk about the heroes for a bit. When a new Dota hero is added to the game, the community doesn't really know which roles they can play in. Their spells
Yeah, when
also
Dawnbreaker
makes
came
them
out, shit
scary.
was crazy. She has
Does that
played
make you a
as
good
off
mid,
lane,
a good
mid, support,
maybe even
carry,
ADC?
all those.
Weeks are spent experimenting, trying things out until a meta is formed, and even then it's quite fluid. Take for example the heroes Muerta
Oh.
and Marcy.
Yeah, don't get
Muerta
me
has a
started
sort
on
of a
Muerta
crit
and Marcy.
and an ultimate that gives her a ton of attack damage. So
They're
would it surprise you to
They're
learn that
similar
ADCs
to
were
Dawn.
awful
You can
with
literally
her
play
main
them as
being a
carry, support, mid,
Many
or off
ADCs
lane,
with
which
crowd
is
control can be played as a
crazy.
support pretty comfortably. You
And
see a
I'm
bunch of
realizing a
basic heroes
trend
such
with
as
Dota
Riki,
recently.
Sven,
A lot
Will,
of
and Tank.
new
Each
characters,
piece can play both
new
as a
heroes
support
are like that.
and as
Oh
the
no,
main ADC.
Ringmaster
It's up to
isn't.
the player each match to decide what path they will take. What about Marcy? She was released.
Oh, now that I think about like freedom of play, man, I miss Heroes on New Earth so much. Because it really was Dota on steroids. And why I enjoyed Dota so much for its freedom now. Like he just said, you can play Riki as a carry or support, take Wraith King to the offlane or carry. But in the Horn, the sky's the limit. And everything is pushed to the max. It's Dota on steroids, which is insanely fun. I still remember using Witch Slayer and getting Hakon Blade to just start slapping people, or having Amon Ra becoming One Punch Man. Fun times, fun times. I wish Dota incorporated more Horn heroes into their game. Like it's free real estate. They're there. Just copy and maybe tweak it a bit and it would be so fun. Like I remember Shadowblade. Was it Shadowblade? What's his name? Shadowblade. Yeah, Shadowblade was such a unique hero. And also Scout, Nomad. Oh my god, those heroes were amazing to play. So fun to play with.
Released with a fling, an ally-enabled AoE nuke, and the ability to buff ally damage. After
Yeah.
some experimentation, where did
Literally
she end up?
every single
He
role.
said, yes, you got it right. Even now, and I kid you not, Marcy is played in every single role. When Valve saw that Marcy was being
Which is
played
fucking
more as a support,
awesome.
they made patches that enabled that
So
playstyle.
much freedom.
When she became a common ADC, tools came out to let her scale that way. At every turn of the meta, the developers were there with 2 thumbs up, saying we can play her any way we want. Many Dota heroes have seen this treatment over the years, and by now most of them can play in at least 2 or 3 roles pretty well. Medusa, a tank marksman ADC, recently won a tournament as a support. Io, who's basically Yumi,
Okay, now, as much as I praise Dota for its freedom to do whatever you want, I fucking hated the Medusa offlane meta. Shit was literal AIDS because you just kept matching against people who were spamming Medusa offlane like it was the best thing since sliced bread. Yeah, Medusa offlane was super annoying to deal with, but again, thanks to the freedom that Dota provides, you can literally itemize or choose a hero to counter the Medusa offlane. Although I'm still thankful this shit is gone from the meta.
won a world championship as the carry.
You can do a million things, and everything.
No
can
till the
work.
GOAT.
Switching over to the champions of League, you know what I'm gonna say. Every champion is released with a designated role. They're designed to fit that assigned playstyle, and usually if a second role sees more success than the primary, it gets nerfed. Support champions sometimes have abilities that only function with an ally around. Top lane tanks have damage scaling with armor purchases. Junglers sometimes get perks like bonus damage to specifically jungle monsters. Sometimes you see a champion
That's such
play
a
the
stupid and
offense so
boring
much,
gameplay design.
developers
Like you are forced to go a certain path in the game. I know I haven't played League in like what 10, 12 years, but damn, they really are so restrictive with the gameplay, huh? Forcing you to go this route and then nerfing it if you don't. That is insane.
will cave. It's not that flex picks don't exist in League, but more that a champion being equally proficient in more than 2 roles is nearly unheard of. In this way, League does not let you choose the role your champion plays.
Sam Raimi really loves Bruce Campbell, huh?
Maintain the illusion.
This game, you're going to play an Enchanter support. As a support in Dota, you have to choose your starting items based on how you
Bruh,
intend to play.
Enchanter
Will you
support.
buy extra
What the
regeneration
hell
to
is
counter
that?
poke and keep your ally alive? Or maybe you'll
What
get some
the hell is
stats and
an
damage to
enchanter?
take on more aggressive trades. Perhaps you're on a courier hunting mission. Pick your gear as needed.
Oracle hunting career.
League instead
Bro, you're
forces you to
griefing.
play with a dedicated support item called World Atlas. It is by far the most efficient support item you can get, giving you stats, gold income, and one free item later on. The game is designed around you having this item as a support. Even if it wasn't forced on you to buy it, you'll probably want to anyway. It's not only the support that can't choose their starting loadout. The jungler in League has a similar feature, where they must buy a jungle item first. What's more, if you aren't a jungler, you cannot buy this item. And if you aren't a support,
What?
you can't.
Okay, the more I hear about League, the more I realize how bad it actually is. Because for me, I would always want freedom in my game, whether it's the ability to kill a random NPC, destroying a building, going anywhere I want to explore, and playing the game how I want to play it without being restricted by gameplay feature or mechanic and be told what to do. Like, it's so insane. Like, it's so restrictive. Like, take Expedition 33 for example. Yeah, it's a different genre of game, but the principle of being able to freely explore the world or build your characters any way you want was one of the best parts of the game. You can literally turn yourself into a suicide bomber, a fucking glass cannon that one-shots everything, or a super durable tanker. That is the type of freedom you get in Dota. And I can't believe that people still regard League as the best esports game. What the hell? It seems like such a baffling game design to me. Oh my god. I'm actually crashing out hearing about this. I'm getting so triggered.
By the World Atlas. These items are extremely efficient for the role they are made for, but this comes at the sacrifice of player choice. The game's first few minutes. After a moment of securing space in the jungle, you need to head to a lane. Just be careful if you're playing League.
Hell yeah. Best movie of all time. Lord of the Rings.
Gandalf
Best
the
fucking
Grey is
movie of
coming.
all time.
He's a herald of woe.
The courtesy of
The top lane.
is somewhat lessened of late.
But Rings of Power, by the way.
He's not welcome.
Why should I?
Receives lane swap detector penalties if detected within the top or middle lanes early in the game. Wait, what? Okay, so League not only forces you to play a certain role and buy a certain item. If you go to a different lane, you get punished? That is what I take from reading this. Receives lane swap detector penalties if detected within the top or middle lanes early in the game. Like, does this mean that you can gank other lanes? Or does League not even have the concept of ganking and rotations? Because from what I read, this seems to be the case. That is so stupid. They are forcing players to really go to a lane in the early game. That is... okay, yeah, that is stupid.
I welcome you.
There are heavy penalties if you go to the wrong lane for an early gank. Things like gold and XP losses. and
Okay, so
super
I
item
am
tags.
right.
It's a new system added to prevent supports from choosing how to lane. Off to the bot lane with you. If you're a Dota support, feel free
Oh
to
my
try lane for a
God.
moment if your carry is playing safe. You can join him for free with the twin gates and leave just as easily. Anyway,
Yeah.
laning stage. Your job right now is to get more golden experience than the other team. Aside from ganks, what else can you do here?
And League
Both League
players
and
can
Dota, the
deny.
main laning strategies are wave management, zoning, and vision control. Players from both games will know what a freeze, a push, and a bounce are. But in Dota, since the creeps aren't tied to the lane, you can aggro them into the jungle so they just kill themselves. Or take them on a grand tour and avoid a straight lane altogether.
He did
All
not
this
snipe the
time,
courier.
there are jungle camp spawns
Oh
to
wait, he
contest,
did snipe the courier.
healing lotuses to collect, camps to stack, and more. You can't control all the laning resources, so you must choose what to prioritize. Supports truly have the hardest job at this point of the game, no doubt.
Okay, I would not call this a flaw, But maybe one of the reasons why Dota is so hard to get into because of the stuff the guy just listed. Yeah, because if you play support, offlane, or any other role, you have to know things like pulling, when to do it, when not to, dragging creeps, knowing when it's needed or not, and controlling the wave, stacking, and stuff like that. So yeah, a lot of crazy stuff you need to know if playing Dota. So I can actually understand why League seems more appealing because of how accessible it is. Even if I hate to admit that, but again, like most Dota players, we're masochists that enjoys the complexity and freedom of Dota. And yes, I'm saying that League has no complexity. You can hate me for it, you can roast me for it, but from what I have learned from this video, League has no complexity, completely no complexity to the game whatsoever, and I stand by that.
Throughout the laning stage of both games, you get gold, contest vision, maybe even go for a gank. After a while, it's time for the early game to end and for the laning stage to slowly dissolve. Except not really in League. I've studied many pro games, and the truth is laning stage never seems to end. There might be an occasional clash for an objective or grouping for a push, but this never seems to last, and soon people will split up into their.
So again, I am right. There's no complexity. And the memes I've seen bashing on League is true. People just farm, and then fight maybe once or twice and then win the game. How is that an enjoyable experience for like not just players but viewers of the esport? Just watching people farm, like goddamn.
Lanes and a jungler again.
Boring as
I think
hell.
League is designed around the laning stage not really ending, and the lanes just shifting around a bit. If you do try and end the laning stage, for example by sending the ADC to farm the jungle or the support to farm mid, then you're probably griefing.
Oh my god. Wait, so if I want to farm more creeps by going to jungle or just being more efficient, that's considered griefing in League? Like what the hell, man? I know it's owned by Tencent and whatnot, but why does it have to be so sanitized and formulaic? How is this the most popular MOBA game? Like Jesus Christ, man. It's so sanitized and controlled. That's insane.
The design of mid-game is truly an illusion of choice, when only one playstyle is optimal. Is that really freedom of play?
No, it's
Dota's
not.
mid-game is exactly the opposite. It's impossible to predict with certainty what will happen after the laning stage ends.
Yeah, Dota is so unpredictable, man. It's crazy. And that's the fun of
One
it.
game your ADC goes jungling while support takes over mid, and the mid and offlaner go and start ganking.
So if you're in League, you get
the marksman might split push one
reported
game, and the
as
support
griefing
takes
by
It could
other
be that the
players, I
support
guess.
start jungle farming their next item,
Oh my
or
god.
assassinate the ADC.
I'm pretty sure the
And in
Luna
any
got
moment,
denied.
a fight can erupt over no objective at all. Watch any set of Dota games, and you'll find there's not really much of a pattern. Dota's
I mean, during TI, Anna did say he has no idea what was happening. So he's not wrong here. Dota is like controlled chaos most of the times. And fights or skirmishes really do happen just randomly throughout the game without much warning. Which, depending on what type of person you are, you might not enjoy the chaos of Dota and much prefer the more formulaic approach of League. Although I don't understand why you would choose that. It's sanitized bullshit, but you do you.
mid-game is very open-ended. Reading the game state and choosing a strategic goal is skill expression. As the game progresses, basic items get purchased and it's time to consider item builds. I want to introduce a term here called the solid
Buying Kanda
hero.
off on
A
Oracle
solid
is
hero a
insane.
hero champion that, game to game, maintains nearly identical item choices and item progressions. There might be one or two items that differ in the build, but if half the late game items are identical, it's probably a solid hero.
Yeah.
A good example.
Okay, I don't think that term applies to Dota though, because you can literally build anything you want depending on the situation. Like yeah, we see Antimage here for example. Sure, you would normally go Battle Fury, Manta, Basher and all those. But let's say you want to be tankier and the enemy has more physical damage or they are an illusion hero. You can maybe consider changing the build to a Vanguard or Radiance combo. Sure, you might get people calling, reporting you, saying you're griefing and all. But you can do that, it works. I think a better term to use here is not soft hero, more like soft items, optimal items, because rather than heroes, there are a couple of items in Dota matches that we would normally see every time. Maybe not every time, maybe 99.9% of the time. BKB, Boots of Travel, a Blink Dagger, yeah, all those. So I feel like he should have used the example of Dota having more common, a more like consistent build, consistent item choice across the board rather than specific heroes.
Example of this in Dota is the hero Anti-Mage when playing in the carry role. He'll go Power Treads, Battle Fury, Manta Style, and Basher every time. Another soft hero is Legion Commander, who in the offlane will go for Phase Boots.
I mean, not really.
In total, Dota suffers from perhaps 30% of the heroes being solved, maybe more on a stale patch. This seems like a lot, and it is, but still.
Yeah, again, I don't think soft hero is a good term here. It's more like items. Because there was a period where Disperser was always getting bought by carry heroes, S and Y as well. And then all supports were getting Glimmer Capes, which they still do, and 4-staff. So again, I still think the better term used here would be items. I mean, comparison to use is items rather than heroes for Dota.
70% of the heroes offer a high amount of item flexibility. Contrast that to League, and the number of solved champions is just wild. To get a glimpse of the whole, let's take a look at the slice of the champion stats on op.gg, a meta tracking website. We'll just take a look at the champions beginning with A. The first
all the items look the same.
Items are all similar or identical.
Oh my god.
And often the boots are identical as well.
Yeah, the items all look the fucking same. No deviations.
Nearly every champion is solved.
Really? No deviations?
The stats are very clear. League favors the solved champion metagame, whether by accident or design.
How is
As
that
such,
fun?
Experiment.
Wait, how is that fun? Like, you're playing the same hero, building the same items, every single game, every single time, every single match, against, I'm guessing, the same people, same heroes. And yeah, from what I've learned from this video, it's definitely by design, I think, because they don't want too much deviations to games and make the experience of playing League more orchestrated and manufactured. And I kind of understand why heroes in League are supposed to be played in only one specific way with very little changes. I'm guessing Riot wants to prioritize this for players so that they can focus on mastering a hero and not worry about relearning new stuff all the time whenever there are changes, I guess. It's definitely a very user-friendly way to approach the game, but again, it just seems stale if I'm just buying the same build, same item to play the game and knowing that item works most of the time. Like, it really takes away the joy of winning the game if I'm playing League, because I know I'm not trying some weird build on my own that helps me to win the game. Instead, I'm following a defined build set by others. Kind of stupid game design again.
Or the expression of
League players are gonna hate me after this video, man.
And even reportable. What I find interesting is that as both games progress into late game, the freedom of play extends equally. Game patterns fall.
Not sure about the late game for League, but Dota late game, especially the Ultra late, is just insane. Like, it's so stressful, but also fun. So yeah, Dota players are definitely masochists. I don't think there's any denying that.
Fall apart, roles flex and bend, and counter items start dominating. You might be doing Drake when you notice the split push.
Drake?
Maybe you smoke for an initiation advantage.
Wait, there's smokes in League?
Because when
really?
you win, and you know it was your strategy that secured victory, oh, there's no better feeling than that. And so we conclude our tour of freedom of play. I've covered so many differences in the games, and will continue doing so in the future. But this is the most important one. If ever people ask you which game to play, or how they compare and you can only share one video, share this one. There are a lot of people that like to focus on skill and micro that League offers.
League offers skill and micro. Really? Really? I'm pretty sure Dota has them beat in that department as well. we literally have heroes like Invoker, Meepo, and Chan. Does the League even have those kind of heroes? Like heroes that need microing skills? Maybe League does have some. I'll give League this. They definitely have more like skill shot heroes as compared to Dota. But if we're comparing complexity and micro and macro stuff as in a mobile game, Dota has it as League beat hands down.
And just as many that crave the tactical freedom Dota provides. And there's no better example of the freedom of play than the freedom to play what you want. There is one thing that League players can choose in their games that Dota players cannot. In League, you can choose to give up.
I don't think that's a good incentive though, and I know he's probably joking and stuff, and I'm taking this point too seriously, but no, I don't think Dota should have a give up button, because I can't tell you how many games I played where I wanted to give up, but then suddenly we turned around a fight and we went from being the losing side to now having the advantage and then winning the game afterwards. That is probably the most euphoric feeling ever, turning a losing game around into a winning one. And from what my friends have told me about League, I don't think there's really a comeback mechanic, which kind of feels boring and lame, so I can understand the surrendering button, but it just kind of takes the fun away, especially when you're losing a game and the enemy is trash talking you, and then you suddenly win a game and you trash talk them back. Like, no better feeling. Trust me, there's no better feeling. But yeah, this was a decent video. I did enjoy the way he broke down all the key mechanics of both games, not really showing any bias towards either one, like me. But from what I've learned from this video about League, it's super sanitized and baby-proof for players, and it likes to hold your hand throughout the game, force you down a certain path, which is kind of restrictive. But given it's done by Tencent, a company in China, not surprising. Like, I still can't go over the fact that you get penalized for rotating to another lane and ganking and switching up lane matchups. That is just such a foreign concept to me. I think League is like the Asian approach to life. Follow a predetermined path to success, whereas Dota is like the European approach or Western approach. Free to choose your own path, but if you fucked up, that is on you, and you have to learn from that mistake to improve yourself. I think that's a good analogy.